Tom freaking Cruise is 61 years old right now. And he's still acting. He's still doing those crazy ass stunts. That's the man right there. That is Tom Cruise right there. What is up, guys and Mission Impossible fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Brinkcat. And yes, the movie has been delayed since 2020. Now it's finally here. Today I'm going to review the latest edition in the Mission Impossible series, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This movie is directed by, once again, McQuarrie, who directed Rogue Nation and Fallout, and this movie stars, once again, Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson, Simon Pegg, Ving, Rhames, Vanessa, Kirby, with some new additions from Hayley, Atwell, Klementieff, and Esai Mariela. Hopefully I said his name right. Ethan Hunt and the IMF team must track down a terrifying new AI weapon that threatens all of humanity if it falls into the wrong hands. With control of the future and the fate of the world at stake, a deadly race around the globe begins. Confronted by a mysterious, all-powerful enemy, Ethan is forced to consider that nothing can matter more than the mission, not even the lives of those he cares about the most. Hell yes! This is one of my anticipated films of the year. Of course, the Mission Impossible franchise has been a big part of my life. Of course, the first movie was good, the second movie wasn't, the third movie was good, but then when Ghost Protocol comes out, that's when this franchise starts to get better. From Rogue Nation, and to me, my favorite out of Mission Impossible films of all time, Fallout, which I think is one of the best action films of the last decade. And once again, McQuarrie has come back for the third time directing a Mission Impossible film, which basically he is now the big name of Mission Impossible directors. I think Fallout is one of the best action movies of the last decade. He directed that movie so well, so of course I was pumped for Dead Reckoning Part 1 since 2020. This movie has been scheduling a lot of release dates. From Tom Cruise's meltdown, from COVID. Basically, this movie has been for a ride for release dates, and how many times I put this movie in my anticipated movies of the years. And now we finally got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Of course, I was pumped for this movie. I am a Mission Impossible fan. I love this franchise. Then it's a split into two-part movie. So, is this movie another great Part 1 that came out this year? Because of course, we've got so many split into two parts this year. We had Fast X, we have Across the Spider-Verse, and now we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I would say, guys, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 absolutely exceed my expectations. Now, is this movie as good as Fallout? In my opinion, no. This movie has one little nitpick. But I would say this is another great addition to the Mission Impossible franchise. First of all, Tom Cruise, man. Let's just talk about him real quick. Tom freaking Cruise is 61 years old right now. And he's still acting. He's still doing those crazy ass stunts. That's the man right there. That is Tom Cruise right there. 61 years old and he's still doing this shit. He's basically asking for a dead wish, basically. And of course, Tom Cruise, as Ethan Hunt, once again does a terrific performance in this movie. And that's no surprise there. Tom Cruise is Mission Impossible. He's the thing that makes the Mission Impossible franchise this iconic. This is definitely the most iconic Tom Cruise character in all of his movies. And of course, once again, Tom Cruise performs the character of Ethan Hunt really well in this movie. And this is definitely the most intense we've seen Ethan Hunt in this franchise. Without spoiling it, this movie dives deeply to his past. And you literally feel for Ethan Hunt a lot in this movie. And of course, Tom Cruise, once again, handles the action well, of course, with the bug stunt. He does it so well, but he's acting as well. He starts to get better with his acting, and of course, his acting was fantastic in this film. And of course, the old cast is back. Rebecca Ferguson once again does a great job in this film. From Simon Pegg, from Ving Rhames, they did a really good job in this film. Vanessa Kirby also returning from Fallout, she does a really good job in this film. But of course, we've got some new additions in the Mission Impossible franchise. One of them that really stood out in this movie is Hayley Atwell. I thought she's a great new addition to this franchise, and I thought she does a terrific job in the film. She has a lot to do with the plot in this movie, and I thought her chemistry with Tom Cruise was fantastic in this film. They work really well together. Also, Klementieff. Man, this woman's a badass in this film. She is wild in this film. She's definitely not Mantis in this movie. She's a completely different character, and she kicks so much ass as one of the villains in the movie. man, this woman is crazy in this film in a really good way. Also, Esai Morales, I don't think I say his name right, I apologize, as the villain of this film. Man, this guy. And I know he's not a newcomer, he's in movies. This is just the first time I've seen him in a movie, and man, he performs a very menacing villain. Again, this villain has a relationship with Ethan Hunt's past, and without spoiling it, this guy is very intimidating in this film, and I would say Morales' performance really helps that in this film. Of course, the action scenes in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is fantastic. It's filmed extremely well. It's definitely big scoped, like the other Christopher McQuarrie's Mission Impossible films. They film very well, they're a lot of fun. It shows that real action filmmaking is still out there. And there are some really intense action scenes in this film as well, especially towards the third act. Holy shit. And I would say, yes, the story of this film is also really intriguing. And that's what's good about the Mission Impossible movies for the most part, the plot. It is very spy espionage, but you really follow it the whole way through. And I would even say, this movie is surprisingly hilarious. There are parts in this movie where I was actually killing myself laughing. There is a moment in this film that has to do with Tom Cruise and Hayley Atwell in this film, and holy shit, I was killing myself laughing without spoiling it. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch this film. I was cracking up laughing so hard in this film. But also, this movie has a great balance of drama and intensity. This movie is also a really intense thrill ride at a couple of moments. There are moments in this film where I literally was reacting, no, holy shit. It shows that Christopher McQuarrie can balance different genres really well in this film. Now look, is this the best Mission Impossible film? I wouldn't say so. Is this film as good as Fallout? To me, no. But this is still another great addition to the Mission Impossible franchise. And this is a part 1, so of course, this movie has to be exposition heavy as well. And I would say one of my biggest issues with this film is that the plot of this movie was good, but it wasn't as intimidating or as, intense as the other Mission Impossible films. I feel like the third act really tries to explain everything before part 2 comes out. And it's not boring at all. This film was never boring. It just kind of drags just a little bit. I wasn't bored at all. It was just a slight nitpick. It drags a little bit. This movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and I didn't think this movie needed to be too long. I know this movie's trying to set up for Dead Reckoning Part 2, which after this film, I am so pumped for Dead Reckoning Part 2. It's just a slight nitpick that I didn't find the plot as, I would say, as memorable as the other Mission Impossible films. And I don't know what's going to happen with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2 with release date, because man, with the writer's strike and the SAG and stuff, I am definitely supporting the writers and actors to stand up for Hollywood, because man, what they are doing, AI, seriously, perfect subject for this review, because this movie is about AI, and Hollywood is doing AI. Well, they're planning to. Please don't do it. It's just stupid, but anyway, that's an issue for another day. Overall, although this is not as good as Fallout, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is another great new addition to the Mission Impossible series. The cast of the movie is great. Tom Cruise, 61 years of age, and still acting and still doing stunts. He's fantastic in this film, with some old comers in the film, with some newcomers. They all did a great job in this film. The action scenes, once again, Christopher McQuarrie directed the action scenes so well in this film. This film has a great balance with a bit of humor, with also some drama and intensity. This is definitely a great setup for a split into 2-part movie. This is a great year for that. And I would say Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is another great action movie that came out this year with John Wick Chapter 4. And I am going to give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 an A. So guys, that is my review for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. Do you like this movie, hate this movie? And what is your favorite movie in the Mission Impossible series? Let me know that also in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel now for more movie reviews and other movie related content. And excuse me guys, after this review, Barbieheimer is coming out, so I'm going to review Barbie and Oppenheimer. Those reviews are coming out very soon. I'm watching those 2 movies all in one day. I'm very excited. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.
What the hell was that?